So in the previous video, we have seen that the crowd was so fascinated, even the narrator becomes so fascinated when he saw the crowd. He went there, he asked the people as to why they were gathered there, what is the reason why the people were there. And one more thing, that he could not see anything very entertaining there, like a monkey is performing there or something different, but still people were there, and so he gets so fascinated and is curious to know what is the reason. Now there is a boy. The writer calls him a boy without brains, because what happened, that boy shouted at the narrator, and he shouted loud enough for everyone to hear. And the way he was talking to the narrator was very rude, and that's why the narrator calls the boy a boy without brains. The narrator also called him immature. Now all the people were waiting outside Ranga's house, because the place would look like the black hole of Calcutta if they all went inside. Now what is black hole of Calcutta? That is already explained in the glossary part. Okay, I have provided you the glossary. In that glossary it is explained at the end, but still for your kind information, I would like to tell you that the place was so small. Okay, and if all people would have gathered at that place, it would have been very difficult for the people to breathe normally. Okay, as the place is small, they may fight a problem of suffocation, and so the writer very humorously calls the whole scenario or the place and the crowd as the black hole of Calcutta. So the people are there, the place is small, all have gathered there, and they are excited to see Ranga. They are waiting outside the house of Ranga. By saying this, the narrator means that I have already explained you, but let's see the lines, that there were so many people that the house would have fallen short to accommodate them all. Thus Ranga came outside with a smile on his face. Everyone was so amazed to see that Ranga had not changed a bit after he left 6 months ago. Okay, their Ranga is the same Ranga who had left the place before 6 months or 6 months ago. An old lady, she came close to him. Even she went to the extent of running her hand through his chest. She was finding out that sacred thread. Okay, whether the thread is there or not, she was checking that, and that's why she extended her hand throughout his chest. However, she went away after confirming. Okay, she went away only after getting the confirmation that he had not forgotten about his caste. Now once the villagers realized that Ranga did not change even after moving to the city, they disappeared as fast as a lump of sugar does in child's mouth. How beautifully and how in a very simple manner the writer is bringing humor into the narration. Okay, the way people disappeared, he says that as if a child takes sugar, a handful of sugar in the mouth, and the way the lump of the sugar gets diluted, the same way people disappeared within fraction of second. The narrator waited till the crowd cleared and asked him about his well-being. Ranga noticed him and replied with full respect in a traditional way. Ranga had not noticed the narrator in the crowd before that moment. So it happened only when the crowd left the place. Ranga could recognize, or Ranga could notice the narrator or the author standing. Then, if we talk about Ranga, Ranga was very well behaved and well aware as to who could benefit him. He was knowing that to whom or with whom he should talk, to whom he should pay attention, who could benefit him. Okay, he was well behaved and he was well aware of all these things. He was one of those who could analyze someone's worth rightly. This is very important quality of Ranga. Okay, that he was able to analyze that what is the worth of a person who is standing in front of him. Okay, for how he greeted the narrator, he bent low and touched his feet, thereby seeking his blessings. So Ranga is having all the traditional ways in him. He has not forgotten all these ways and the things which are taught to him, though he has visited a big city. After coming back, he is following all those things which are taught to him. It was not the present day namaskara where children would do it casually. The way we do it today, it's not the same way he did. It was done in a very traditional way. It was proper. It was very traditional, the writer says. The narrator blessed him that he might get married soon, and then he left. Okay, while blessing him, he said that he might get married soon. Then what happened in the story? We will see that. Okay, let's continue. That afternoon, Ranga visited the author with a few oranges, which the narrator thought was quite thoughtful of him. Thinking of how nice Ranga is, the author thought it would be a good deed to have him married to a girl just as nice as him. So here the writer, the narrator of the story, has started thinking about Ranga's marriage. He feels that Ranga is a good boy, is a nice fellow, so he should get a good girl to marry with him. Then they chatted for a while, and then the narrator asked Ranga about his views on getting married. So this is how the narrator has touched the subject. Ranga expresses that he doesn't intend on marrying now. He is not willing to marry now. And he says, why? What is the reason? Because he intends on finding the right girl. What is more important for him? To find a right girl to get married. Then what happens? Let us see. He cites the example of an officer who got married to the age of 30 to a woman aged 25. Okay, the officer is of, what is the age of that officer? He was of 30 and the woman was of 25. Now, since these are both adults, they would understand each other's actions and behavior. This is what Ranga is trying to explain. Whereas, suppose the narrator finds a girl who is very young, she could misunderstand his words or actions because she is not mature enough. What Ranga is trying to say that a girl should be, having proper understanding. She should be mature enough to get married. Okay. He even mentions the love story of Shakuntala and Dushyanta from Mahabharata, and that he would not have fallen in love with Shakuntala if she were too young. So this is how he is taking support of the different examples to prove his argument. In that case, Kalidasa's play also would have not existed. Okay, Kalidasa has written a play, a very well-known play, that is Shakuntala. So this is how he says that if she would not if she would have been so young, then there won't be much interest in the play like Kalidasa. Or rather, he says that the play would also the play would not be there into the existence. That is why he intends on staying a bachelor. What he prefers, or what is his choice, that it is better to stay as a bachelor, okay, till he finds the right girl. So these are his views about marriage and about the girl to whom he will be getting married. That he says that the girl should be mature and the girl should be a very suitable person, right person to get married. Now here the narrator introduces us to a new character in the story, and the name of that character is Ratna. She is 11 years old and she is Rama Rao's niece. She had lost both her parents, so her uncle brought her from the big town to his home with him. So Ratna is staying with her uncle. She had a great voice and she could play harmonium and veena. The narrator thought that Ranga and Ratna would make a great pair. That will be a good couple or a good pair to get married with each other. Ratna was quite familiar with the narrator. She was knowing the narrator as he visited Rama's place frequently. The narrator thought of a plan to introduce Ratna to Ranga. Okay, now he is feeling that these people are, can be a good pair, can be good life partners for each other, and that's why he has started making a plan. He plans to introduce them with each other. He asked Rama to send Ratna. Rama is the uncle of that girl and a good friend of the narrator. So the narrator asked Rama to send Ratna to his place as he wanted to send some buttermilk for them. Okay, so he's asking to send her to my place. I want to send some buttermilk. And she came all dressed up. She is completely perfectly ready. The narrator insisted upon her to sing a song. The narrator is a very smart person. He knows that she is good at singing, and he has invited Ranga also at that place. How he manages, how he plans all these things. We'll continue with the discussion. See, the narrator insisted upon her to sing a song. He is asking Ratna to sing a song, while at the same time what he is doing, he sent someone to call Ranga. Just as she was singing, Ranga arrived at the door. Now what happened then? Let us see. Her melancholic voice touched his ears, and thus he did not want to interrupt the singing, so he stood at the door. He was curious to see the singer, and very cautiously he tried to have a look. He was not able to see her, but he was so curious to see her. Who is the singer? He was willing to know that, to have a look at that person. And he cautiously tried as well to have a look, which disturbed the lighting in the room. On seeing a stranger, Ratna, the moment when she saw that a stranger is standing there, she stopped singing. Then the narrator compares Ranga's situation to the disappointment of dropping a best quality mango on the floor just before having to truly enjoy it. Okay, like missing a good mango, a very best quality mango that we can see but we cannot enjoy the mango. It like that Ranga was having the situation. He was facing the disappointment. It was as if something great had been stolen before one could fully enjoy it. Ranga asked the narrator why he called for him. Okay, if you remember, Ranga was given a message that he is called by the narrator. He comes to the place, and now Ranga is asking that why? Why the narrator? He is asking the narrator why did he call him? Ratna was shy and thus looked downward, whereas Ranga stealthily glanced at her. There was an awkward silence in the room. So here we'll talk about the next few things. After this, after things went a bit awkward, Ranga said that he feels it was his coming that stopped the singing, so he must leave. Okay. Ratna was singing and she saw that strange. She is not knowing who is this person. Okay. She was not knowing Ranga, and when she saw him, she stopped singing. And now Ranga says that because of me, she has stopped singing, so he must leave the place. Though he said that, he did not leave the place. The narrator makes fun of him because he had no intention of going. Okay, Ranga said, but he is not showing any sign of leaving the place. And here the narrator grabs the opportunity to make fun of him. He jokes about it and says one cannot expect actions and words to match in the Kali Yuga. Okay, that people say something different and people do something different. So their actions and their words are not matching. And why this is happening? This is Kali Yuga and anything can happen. This is how he cracks the joke at that time. After a few minutes of awkward silence, Ranga finally asked the narrator about the girl. He could not stop himself and he asked that who is the girl? Now the narrator compares the situation with the infamous story of the he-goat and the lion, where he is the he-goat and Ranga the lion. The narrator replies very cleverly and intends on seeing Ranga's interest. He came to know that how Ranga is interested to know about the girl. Okay, and accordingly he is replying very cleverly. Thus he says that who she is not of that much importance because he is already married and Ranga doesn't intend on marrying anytime soon. What he replied that who is she is not so much important. Why? Because she is already married. And one more thing he says that you are not going to marry. Okay, you will take some more time, as he had told the narrator. So this is how the writer very cleverly replied to him. Hearing the narrator's reply, Ranga got excited. Now he became more excited, although he did not show it. He was hiding that interest, but this was quite evident. He could not, hide those expressions. He was full of hope. He asked if she isn't married yet, to which the narrator replies that she is. And the writer is so smart, he adds one more thing. He says that probably a year ago, means she got married 1 year ago. Ranga was so disappointed and so disheartened at that moment. It was clearly all over his face. Everything was clearly seen. Everything was clearly visible on the face. He went away quoting some work. So the narrator, having staged certain liking in the mind of Ranga for Ratna, okay, he came to know that Ranga is having some liking for Ratna. He thought that the things I have planned, the play which I have started, I should complete it. And for completion of this play, What does the narrator do? We will talk about that in the next part of our video. Thank you.